Getting to the end of the year, and I'm sure next week and the week after, it'll be a little bit more difficult for folks to get out, or you guys will be done traveling, or what have you. I think that these questions are really important and significant for us to be thinking about, at least as people, as citizens, as part of the community, and in some way, though I may have rephrased it slightly, these are questions that Jesus asks in the Gospels of different people. And one of the things that I find very compelling about the Gospels is Jesus's ability to ask meaningful questions. Whether it be when someone is, for instance, when a gentleman comes up and is blind, Jesus says, "What can I do for you?" Right? Right? Most of us would assume if we're a miracle worker and someone blind walks up to us, that we already assume we know what the person's needs are. The fact that Jesus takes a moment and asks is really impactful and beautiful and meaningful. I personally had never really caught that piece. I'm reading right now about the 307 questions Jesus asked and the 3 he answered. So far the book is okay, but that was one of the pieces it pointed out that so it got me to thinking more about some of the questions Jesus asks and how maybe we can use them to just reflect on our year, reflect on the upcoming year. This is that time of year when we reflect. And also because Christmas is the time that we celebrate as the Messiah coming. And for many of us, as we've discussed a couple different times, we have different definitions of what that means or what that looks like. So one of the things, we were talking this morning before lunch, and just talking about the fact that Chris was showing how people assume that we have a singular, and CJ was also contributing that discussion about how that there's an assumed singular picture of understanding of Scripture or Jesus, and if you don't fit it, you're on the outside, and so it's conform or be a heretic. I don't think that's true. That's not something that we teach here or we participate in. And so what I do want to do is ask you guys to consider these questions. I actually have pens and the questions written out for you. This is the most extroverted we will have been this year, in the sense of I'm going to ask you to consider writing these down, and the length or the brevity of this discussion is your willingness to share. And I want you to know that when I put these questions up here, I'm not asking for something simple. I'm not asking for a label. I'm asking, I want you to take this to the philosophical nth degree and be reflective. Who are you? What makes you who you are? And the me here is not me. The me would reflect Jesus. And so I think this is significant because I don't know that many of us really think about what our faith, we're hoping our faith will do for us, or what our participation in community or church will do for us. What are you doing here? Is a sense of purpose and meaning and value. And again, I would encourage you not to just list your occupation or your current status as a student or not. But what would you imagine is your purpose for being present? What are you looking for? What are some of your hopes? What are the things that you look for? I think a really good way to even view these questions, and maybe you do it today, maybe you do it after this time, is how would other people answer these questions about you? Can also be really, really impactful. What is it that you want? And I realize that kind of gets similar to what are you doing here? But I think that our desires and our wants can be different than sometimes just why am I present? And this one, especially this time of year with seasonal depression, anxiety of holidays, and just end of semester stuff. Why do you worry? And this isn't meant to be a psych session. I'm not trying to psychologize you here. I just want you to take some time and reflect, like, what are the things that make you worry? And why do you worry about those things? So let me tell you a quick story. There's a rabbinic story, and I've heard it told different ways, so I don't know what is the original and what is the correct. And based on my understanding of rabbinic Judaism, it doesn't matter.
That's what I was thinking.
So there's a rabbi, and he is walking through the woods. And it's dark out, it's late, he's going home. But he is pondering the text. And as he's walking, he's not paying attention, and he veers off his normal path home. And all of a sudden he hears in the darkness, "Who are you and why are you here?" And he stops, and he's compelled that this is Hashem, God, speaking to him. And he tries to ignore it, and he keeps walking. Why are you here? Or who are you, and what are you looking for? What are you doing here? Right? And again, he stops and he pauses. And he takes a few more steps, and he hears it again. And when he looks up, he realizes that a guard is actually saying this to him. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" And he turns to the guard, and he says, "How much money do you make?" And the guard says, "What is that to you?" He said, "Because I will match it every day you follow me around and ask me those questions." Right? So I love that story, and I think that reflects some of what Jesus is getting at in the Gospels. And so, is anyone logged on, Tony? All right. So if someone logs on, I only want you to tangentially pay attention to that. So if someone logs on and you're not paying attention to it, that's completely okay. We're not going to stress about it. But if someone does, let me know so I can kind of give them instruction. Yeah. And I have pens if anyone needs them.
So how long do we go right about this, and when do you want us to start talking about it?
I will determine that based on your level of participation as you're writing.
That's true.
Okay, who needs a pen?
Oh, thank you.
Tony, do you need a pen?
Does anybody want to use a
Pens?
share?
Yeah.
I can grab more books if everybody wants like a hard service. I probably
Why
have
don't
some
you sit down?
reports.
We'll go grab it.
Oh, I never smart.
Does anybody else need a surface?
Oh, that's serious weight right there, man.
Does anybody else need a surface?
I know, right?
Okay.
Any surface?
No, I was trying to do it. I'm sure my heart services. There's some context though, right? Marky Cassie didn't hear me see that.
I'm just grateful that you told Cassie she wasn't allowed to be on her phone, but then you say something like that to my wife.
All right,
Oh, and I'm not looking for Sunday school answers either.
All my answers, Dawn.
So,
All of them are gonna be.
so just so you know, this doesn't have to be puppy dogs, unicorns, and flowers. Like in the what do you want me to do for you? My gut reaction is fix it. So like, it doesn't have to be polite, kind. Here, give me that one so I can throw it away if it's not working.
Yeah.
Because we people have this
Oh.
obsession with keeping pens that don't work.
Well, sometimes they start working again later, you know?
Not that
But
one.
this is not a Jesus pen.
Bless it.
Just put it in a box for 3 days. See what happens.
I went back and the box was empty, but there was a dead cat.
Oh, I don't know. I show you something at the church. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna see it again.
Only a thoroughly geeky church would laugh at that joke. Thank you all for being that. You can also have more than one answer per section. You can make bullet lists if that eases your brain.
Roger.
Whichever you do. I know that might mess up the camera, but no one's logged on anyhow.
Well, that changes the whole ambiance, yeah.
I'm sorry about that, but that humming sound is, it's A.
Look at me trying to be slick. Shit.
About 3 more minutes. All right, finish up. Or does anybody want to keep theirs private? Okay. So I'm going to collect them from you.
Wow.
See everybody?
Are you wanting yours to be private?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You don't have to be sorry. All right. If I give you yours back, I want you to tell me. All right. So I would like to begin with this question. And we're just going to go around the room and read the "What are you doing here?" And I want you to read it. So starting with you, Chris, it's the person. And a lot of these, not everything's filled out, and that's okay. So Chris, if it is, if you would.
Changing my life and changing the world.
Cass?
So what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Preparing, healing, growing.
All kinds of wonderful and beautiful things.
CJ?
Pursuing ethics in life science, pursuing friendships, sustainability.
Okay, good. And then starting with you, Tony, we'll go back the other direction. What do you want?
Community, fulfilling jobs, sustainability.
I want to do something positive, to make a positive change in the world, even if it is only a very small one. A meaningful life, and a life with not too much undue pain.
What do you want?
Yep, they kind of got like an arrow between
That's
what
fine.
you want. and what you look for. I'm looking for meaningful fulfillment, the feeling that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, or what I'm or where I'm headed. Someone to share my life with. Well,
I want to understand what motivates people to act how they do and be who they are. I want to understand the historical context that motivated how scripture was originally written, regardless of how it motivates people now.
A platform to encourage a healthy child and want to be a better husband.
Figuring it out.
I want to not have to worry about being hurt in everything I do.
All right. Starting with Chris, going in the other direction. I don't have to call your name because I think you guys have figured out the system. But for these three, I want after each person's done reading, regardless of whether it's blank or not, we say, "Blessed be God." Okay. So, what do you want me to do for you?
Help other people become more open to change and compassion.
Blessed be God. Blessed be God. Blessed be God.
The unexpected, optimism, and compassion.
Blessed be God.
Help me change the world. Help me help myself.
Blessed be God. Blessed be God.
Give some assurance.
Blessed be God.
Guide me towards a better way of living, and provoke me to think more deeply and more fully about life, the universe, and everything.
Blessed be God.
Teach me, help me understand my purpose.
Mm.
Blessed be God. Community, confidence in pursuing the future. Blessed be God.
Deeper understanding.
Blessed be God.
Well, this was the same as what you want. Is it okay if I reread it? Okay. I'm looking for meaning fulfillment. Definitely. The feeling that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing or where I'm headed. Someone to share life with.
Blessed be God.
Blessed be God.
Blessed be God.
Hope, realistically grounded, investment, and fitness.
Blessed be God.
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 Self-actualization to people, others, friends, people who want me to feel that.
Blessed be God.
Too many people are resistant to change rather than me.
Blessed be God. Blessed be God.
Blessed be God.
Reality in way of desire.
Blessed be God.
Money.
Blessed be God.
I worry that every day people have blinders on to focus them into their daily routine and are missing the big picture day by day. I worry that lack of progress as a people only leads to frustration instead of a continued hope.
Blessed be God.
I worry that what I'm doing is the wrong thing, that I'm not going to make it, that I'll have regrets.
Blessed be God.
I worry that I am not enough, and that the things I do are not enough.
Blessed be
Blessed be
God.
God. Fear of jobs, future not being fulfilling. Blessed be God.
Okay, so everyone has heard your thing be read. So get your sheet back from the person that read yours.
Oh, you're mine. Do I have yours?
And you still need your identity.
Yeah, that's not double.
Oh, I missed it. I forgot to be the star next to it.
That's not that way.
No.
Okay,
I don't know how
So-
I sat in this.
all right, everyone still have your pen?
No.
All right. Starting with Tana, I want you guys to tell Tana who she is.
What? Dedicated. Oh, wait.
Go ahead, Tana, write these down.
What? Mother.
Supporter.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Inspiring.
Did you say beautiful yet?
Related.
Passionate.
Driven.
Loving.
Kind. Friend.
Mm-hmm.
Worthy.
Okay, I know we can keep going. Chris, I want you to write down this list. That was also for you guys. I'm not giving him a list. You guys are.
Oh.
Yeah, Tana, everyone names. I'm telling you to read the rest of the book. I know better than to tell my spouse who she is. So
Passionate.
passionate. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Positive.
Self-reflective.
Inspiring.
you know, supportive.
Whoa. It's like,
Okay, Mark, you ready to write?
Funny.
creative. I'll say this, like, behind the scenes doer.
I read that.
Just like an overall, like, good dude.
Very
Right.
Canadian.
Overall. Dude.
Like the bacon. You don't have to put that down.
Intelligent.
Mm.
Inspiring.
Okay, Cass. Wow.
Impressive. Hard worker.
Very kind of like light.
Very kind of light, I don't know. I swear.
Yeah. Talking about that.
I was thinking cuddles and hugs. Hugs. Hugs and cuddles.
Genuine.
Mm.
Did somebody say intelligent?
Maybe I should say it again.
This
She
girl's
was really
like
smart.
smart.
Yeah.
Tyler, you ready to write?
Critical thinker.
Honest.
Mm-hmm. Caring. Oh.
Actually, talented.
I said caring. Wait, yeah.
Tracks well.
Like he's a good tracker.
No, you can just like hang, you know.
Oh, okay.
Good conversations. And listener.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he is a good listener and a good sharer.
All right, Morgan, you ready?
Fun.
Mm.
Brain.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Beautiful. Smart.
Driven.
Mm.
Generous.
Caring.
Infectious smile.
Ashley, are you ready to write?
Good company.
I guess so.
Generous.
Funny.
Courageous.
Hugs and cuddles.
Thoughtful.
Comfortable, like,
Like hugs and cuddles. Yeah. I think that too. Just, you know.
I'm trying to figure out ways to, like, she like did all the experimenting with cooking. Like there's not like dairy.
Yeah, that we
but, like,
haven't had very many baked goods lately.
but like
Actually, I've had like eggs and like evaporated milk on my counter for like 3 weeks trying to bake scones.
It's on your
Well,
counter.
like,
You can probably
like
throw
she's not afraid
I know.
to try new things.
Yeah,
Okay, there
That's what I'm trying to
That's
say.
a good one.
Yeah.
Like moving, a couple thousand miles to say I don't know.
That's good.
Daring, bold,
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Wow, like
unafraid to
this.
speak her mind.
Mm.
All right, CJ, are you ready to write? Okay.
good cook.
Yeah, it's talking about experimental and trying new
That had to
things.
be the first thing. Insightful.
Mm.
Good listener.
Advocate, yeah. She just cares about
Perpetual
so
advocate, yes.
many things, yeah.
I was trying to think of like others thinking, like just always
Critical thinking.
thinking about
Yeah,
the
definitely critical
other.
thinker. And she just delves into English, like she wants to know everything about it and be able to just,
For me, in fact, it's,
Yeah.
when CJ walks in and smiles, my day is instantly better.
Kind and generous.
Present.
beautiful.
Loved by June.
Yeah, and there's a select few. You're kind of up there with Mark.
Mark, yeah.
I would-
I think Mark's an obsession.
Yeah. All right, Tony, are you ready to write? Okay, Tony.
Funny, creative,
Witty.
Smart. Kind. Discerning.
Brave.
Loyal, dependable. All right, so how'd you guys do? How was your list compared
so
to?
like the newlywed game.
Yeah, how'd you do it identifying? So, actually, I think when at a cursory glance of picking up everybody's thing, that was probably the one that was left blank the most. I hope that you guys all know that when we think about who we are, we're often not nearly as accurate as when other people tell us who we are. Don't get me wrong, there are moments when people tell you who you are and they are dead wrong. And those are lies and we should reject those. But this community, everything I heard, not a single adjective, and I think you would all agree with me, described you or somebody else was at all a stretch. They were all appropriate adjectives. So, I don't know if you guys have anything you want to talk about with this, or talk about how was it for you guys to have to write and hear what other people had to say about it. Difficult? Why?
Well, I don't know about Tom, but it just kind of hurts that I can't see, or I just have trouble admitting or seeing myself the way other people do.
There's that viral video that's going around with people being told they're beautiful.
Yeah.
I've seen it, so yeah, it's kind of the feeling that people don't often believe that about themselves.
For me, it's especially hard because of my Asperger's syndrome. I can't actually answer the questions.
Yeah.
The words don't come, or I don't know what to say. And some of them I'll take literally. I could put answers in that, but they're trivial and not really what we're going for. But it's just really hard.
So how did it feel? Like, I was thinking about you actually when I decided to do this today, that it might be something that you just weren't able to fill out. So I hope that in no way did that make you feel left out. But how did it feel for you to hear other people describe it?
I don't know. I was just mindlessly writing them down, trying to keep up.
Any thoughts or anything about this? Like, does hearing other people describe you and who you are, at least in this setting with this group of people, right? Because if you walk into other settings and other groups of people, the words might be different and wrong. What is that? How does that affect at all any of these other questions? Like, if you believed everything in this first question that was described about you, which again, I will reiterate, I think was true of everyone, we could probably go on for about an hour with each person. So if all of these things were true and are true, does that change any of your answers? If you were to truly own that first one? And in what ways do you think it might? Do you think some of them would be easier to answer?
I feel like my answers were pretty consistent with.
I found that with the who are you question, I answered with like titles. And not with like particular characteristics, just kind of interesting to see that.
Well, if you guys have anything in this that you want to talk about, you can. Or we can be done.
I guess I want to say, good, speaking of mind. So like when you're first going over the questions, like, what are you doing here and what do you want? I would say like this week has definitely popped into my mind. Just to like give a little background, like, at work one day and I run into one of my coworkers and she's another office assistant and she goes, and she's like, Ashley, what'd you get your major in? I was like, oh, mathematics. And she's like, what are you doing here? She's like, why are you here? And not to like, be mean, just, in fact, someone kind of asked me that the other day, so it's a common question. They're like, if you have a degree in math, you're like, why are you like an office assistant? Anyway, well, I guess it's like Thursday. So Thursday night, I get home and open my mail, which is my acceptance letter. But Thursday during the day, I'm like, I guess I haven't heard from them. I was like, I should start thinking about applying to University of Oregon. I'm going to their site, and then I realized I have to take, like, I think I misunderstood some of their requirements, and I realized I have to take all these standardized tests that are like based in Oregon, not like based in Oregon, but Oregon such and such. I was like, I don't have the money to even do the application, let alone do all this standardized testing and then make sure that's good enough. And I was like, well, at this point, it's kind of obvious I'm not getting into Wisconsin, and it just doesn't seem worth it to apply to University of Oregon because I just don't have the ability to be competitive. And it's just like, maybe I'll just be stuck in Blacksburg for the rest of my life, and I'll just follow Don around or something since I really enjoy my church. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my life since being a teacher didn't look like it. And it's like, this idea is like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I doing? And then I get home, I get this acceptance letter, and it's like I still feel a little surreal. Like, we're talking about, like, I showed Chris my letter. He's like, what does it mean that you got accepted to the program but recommended for grad school? And if you're a grad student, like, it's, it's kind of like a dual application, which is kind of strange. But I have like this strange like fear that grad schools will be like, actually, we reject you, so like I've got to go back and tell everyone that actually wasn't good enough. But anyway, yeah, so it's just been really uplifting this week to have like this struggle about what am I doing, and then to finally get what I want. Especially when like I definitely felt like going to Wisconsin was like reaching for the stars, since it is one of, if not the best program in the U.S. and want the best in the world. And just let you guys know I'm pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you. Any questions or thoughts?
Well, I do. I guess so. Like, this kind of began with like the Gospels and Jesus kind of asking these questions, whether implicitly or explicitly in text. So how do, like, what is the role of like faith or Jesus as we kind of like think about these kinds of questions?
Well, I think if you were to, I think for each person that's going to be very personal.
Yeah.
I think if you think about these questions of if Jesus were to answer them on behalf of you, and imagine, so each of us have a construct of how we imagine Jesus. And if you were to imagine Jesus describing who Chris Sanchez is, how would Jesus be? I think in some ways you would find either healthy or unhealthy perspectives of Jesus as you went through these. Like, if you were to ask, if Jesus were to answer, what does it seem like Don wants from me? That might be very different than my answers if I take time to be introspective about that. And so I think our idea of faith and Messiah is extraordinarily important. I think you could do these questions in a multiplicity of ways. You could do them. You answer personally. You hear the community speak into your life, which is important and necessary, and we do not do it enough. And so hopefully each of you, it felt good to hear how people described you, and you recognize that that's missing on an ongoing basis, and so therefore maybe you will begin to speak those things into each other's lives regularly. And so I think how does the community or how does someone else answer these questions for us? And then to think about how is it that I would hear Jesus answering these questions about me. And I think that's how I would encourage you. And I think that's where, for me, in my mind, this just automatically went into some great asking question, because since these were the questions Jesus asked, I think for me, I just implicitly want to automatically answer the way that I think Jesus would answer for me. And so that's what I'd encourage you guys to do that. Don't be dismissive of that. Take time, whether it be now, because we have extra time, or it be some point to actually sit and think through these 6 questions and your understanding of Jesus, of the Christian faith, and how you imagine these being answered.
Did you, these questions that you came up with?
So, well, Jesus came up with them.
Sure.
And so these are the ones that he asked the most frequently, or something along these lines.
Yeah.
But again, to reference that book is what kind of stirred in me. The book covers 7 questions, but I pulled this from that concept.
Yeah, I learned a lot. What are the 3 questions he answers according to the book?
I haven't got there yet. All 3 of those other different questions relate to they're the same ones. I think the same ones that are asked multiple times and recorded multiple times.
307.
But it's one of those things where it's really important for us to recognize that Jesus only answers 3 times out of being recorded being asked a question 307 times. And so that's the significance. Like, we tend to turn to Jesus to be the answer man, or we turn to pastor, or we turn to a religious leader to be the answer person. And really what we're confronted with in Scripture is better questions, or more questions, which I find to be a little bit more understandable in a setting like ours, where a lot of people have science backgrounds. and you're looking for the next better question, or suddenly you're looking for the next concrete finished answer, and you no longer have to ask any other questions. And so I think that that's something that our community actually relates to probably easier than a lot of other. So I hope everyone's kind of quiet and reflective, and that's good. But I hope what you walk away from is that you're really cared about and thought highly of this community, every single one. And therefore you're valuable to this community and meaningful. And so as we reflect on our year, as we project into next year, I hope that you guys all understand who you are, at least through the lens of fellow sojourners. And hopefully that can positively impact your projections next year. I think sometimes this time of year it's easy to look at the year and see all the things we didn't achieve and miss out the fact of all the character traits that we have embodied and demonstrated to those around us.
I was just reading something this morning that said instead of writing a to-do list, you should write a done list because then you'll focus more on your success. I think there's just a corollary there for, I mean, even just in daily practice, if you're the type of person who does a to-do list, like, I think that can make you feel more accomplished, but also, yeah, just regularly reflecting on sort of how you're happening. Because we tend to
Yeah, and so what I would say to that is the list that everyone gave you, however brief it was, because I forbid too long of a time for a person, is your done list. You are that. You are intelligent, you are beautiful, you are kind, you are generous, you are creative, you are funny, you are whatever the list was for you. Those are things that are already you. And that's beautiful and good. Anything else? You want to stop broadcasting our oozing of Hallmarkian